Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of 10 Unedited Minutes with Marlena. It is Monday, June 8th. We're coming off of a weekend. I'm feeling the Monday today. I don't know why, but it's Monday. But before we get into it, today's episode is brought to you by a very dear friend of mine who has agreed to sponsor this show because she believes in me, she believes in the work I'm doing, and that means a lot. And I appreciate that. This person did not want to be mentioned, but I do think of them every morning when I wake up and come in here and record this podcast. And today, it means a little extra because there was a comment put on one of my YouTube videos that I published this on. So I published this podcast on YouTube. I push it out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, through Buzzsprout. And every once in a while, I haven't done it for a few days, but I will stream live on TikTok. But I don't usually look at like the YouTube comments on here. I post it and then just kind of forget about it. I will put a Facebook post out just kind of promoting the podcast or whatever. But I just happened to go back and look at my YouTube videos this weekend just to see, get some stats and to see how the podcast is doing, who's listening, where people are listening from. And somebody put a comment on there and it hurt my feelings. And okay, so when you do stuff like this, you put yourself out there, it's a risk, right? And it took me a while to decide to do something like this because of that risk, right? And before that, I feel like I've held a public life for a while. Back in the day, before I owned the Dough Hook, I was the editor of the Putnam County Sentinel and kind of the face of that newspaper. And I took great pride in that. And when I owned the Dough Hook, I, formed my marketing in the way that I was the face of that company. And I was. And when you're a small business owner, it's hard not to be the face of your brand. And, I am the type of person that becomes an expert in whatever I do. And if I don't know how to do something, I will research it until I'm blue in the face, until I, know enough. And I learn a lot just by doing it, right? Like I'm a hands-on learner. And when I learn something, I don't forget it. And that's what I'm trying to do, with this podcast and just with my life now. I feel like I'm in a transition period because I don't own the Dough Hook anymore. I don't, have a mainstream business anymore. And I don't know. So I put this podcast out there, and honestly, this podcast is just kind of a way for me to extend my creativity, right? It's a way, it's something for me to do, to look forward to, a reason to get up every morning, to come in here and, record this podcast, because in 365 days, I want to be able to say, I did it, right? I met a goal. And that's what I want to do. But along the way, you are going to have naysayers. And we had a naysayer. This person said, you should keep recording this, but just not posting it. And I'm like, maybe you should just not watch it, jerk. But anyway, you develop a thick skin, and I feel like sometimes that skin thins and then it thickens back up, just like you shed it and then you have to grow it again. And I don't know, maybe I'm in an era where I am kind of regrowing that thick skin and, need to just kind of brush that shit off, because you're going to have assholes in this world, and that's never going to change. It's never going to change. So this weekend, I didn't do much. I vegged out to Netflix more than I would have liked, but I get sucked into these documentaries, and there was this one on AI and artificial intelligence, and it was this guy who I honestly don't know his background, but he kind of got very curious about it, and just like me, he has to research things until he's blue in the face, and he got so worried about AI that he filmed this documentary, and it was really good because he brought in people who were like, doomsday, AI is going to take over this world and it's going to ruin this world. And then he brought in the other side of that opinion, where people who said AI is the greatest thing and it's going to be the greatest thing for our, you know, our generation. And he did the doomsdayers first, and you know, they were scared. Like, these are genuine people who are genuinely scared to bring children into this world because they think that AI is going to get smarter than us. And they did have some really good points, some points that honestly kind of freaked me out, in the way that they have written AI is that the more you use it, the smarter it gets. And currently, we, the human species, is the smartest species on this planet. And these people are scared that this AI is going to become smarter than us. And when that happens, they said that's not a good thing. But on the other hand, you have the people who embrace that, right? They embrace the fact that AI is going to be smarter than us, more capable. I don't know where in the hell my voice is going today, but give me a minute. The other day when I pushed that button on my microphone, I learned that it was a pause. So anyway, so yeah, you have these people that embrace AI, and they're like, you know, this could be the thing that cures diseases, cures cancer, because, and they had some really good points too, right? AI, the way it works is it takes all this information that's currently out on the World Wide Web right now, and it quickly analyzes that information and brings back to you what it finds. How did they explain that? It like the things that it finds repetitive, right? Like, for example, the sky is blue. It can find a million statements out on the World Wide Web that says the sky is blue. Okay, that must be true. So we're going to relay that to the people. So that's what it does. It finds all this information. And so you have a million doctors out there putting, you know, information out about specific diseases. AI can take all that information, put it together into a format that makes sense for somebody, and bring it back to all those doctors and say, hey, this guy did this guy did that, this is what it looks like works, and it can present the facts to you. So I can see where people can get scared of that, right? You can create a robot that can literally learn how you're feeling, learn your way of thinking, and kind of, you know, help you in life, and probably even take over your life. That would be scary as hell. But on the other hand, if you have something that can cure, you know, a disease that nobody else can cure because it can analyze information from 5 different doctors spread across this world, then that would be really good. So after watching this documentary, my view on AI remains the same. And that is, and I've said this before on here, that is, as long as you're using it as a tool and you're not using it as a replacement. Today's students, today's younger generation needs to be taught how to use it as a tool and not a replacement. Just like we were taught how to use a typewriter. It did not replace writing for us, but it helped us and it made things faster, right? We can type a report on a computer now a lot faster than we could on those manual typewriters, even those, remember those electric typewriters? Yeah. So I view AI as the same thing. As long as you're looking at it as a tool and using it in that manner, then we should be fine. So, yeah, so that's what I did this weekend. And then I watched some weird documentaries that freaked me out about, um, you know, what was that called? The worst exes or something like that. I don't freaking know. I get sucked into these documentaries it's, and then I think about them for days on end and just become very disturbed. So we can talk about another one tomorrow that I found very interesting, and I'll tease that a little bit. It was on microplastics. So that one was very interesting. Anyway, I got to get off here. Got to get some work done before I take a trip to the dentist with my granddaughter. I'm excited about that. And get my day going. So I love you guys. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I am going to post this to YouTube. So, dude, if you're out there, just don't even look at it, okay? I'm not going to let your negative comment stop me from meeting my goals. And you should do the same thing. So, I love you. Pray for me. I will pray for you. Have a great day, you guys. And we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.